Using the most scientifically accurate methodology ever conceived, I'm going to definitively prove which is the strongest faction in all of 40k. By finding each army's weakest unit and working out if I could beat them in a fistfight. The rules are very simple. No armor, no weapons, no holds barred. 1v1, Fatherless Nation Fox only, fight to the death. My hypothesis here is that you can only be as good as your weakest links, so using this system we can find out which faction is the overall strongest in the galaxy. I foresee absolutely no problems with this, so let's get right into it, starting with... the most fightable looking member of the Adepta Sororitas is the Militarum Priest. Not the one with Vindictor, thank you very much. And yes, last time I realized I did somehow misread this as Vindicator, although my way is a lot funnier. This boils down to a very simple question. Could I fight the Pope? I reckon I probably could. Although, to be fair, looking at the model, he's a pretty big lad. And I've not met a man of the cloth that has a metal fist. That seems a little bit unfair. Additionally, as with basically the entire Imperium, but especially the Adepta Sororitas, righteous fervor goes a long, long way. Even the novitiates would probably be trained in some sort of basic hand-to-hand combat. That's going to be far beyond my ability. And even if they weren't, they would probably just get on fine yelling about the Emperor and swinging their fists around. And if I happen to be in the way, it'd be my own fault if I get hit. Also, as a gentleman, I could never strike a lady, and therefore I couldn't possibly win against any of the main Sisters units. And no, I'm not just saying that because I know they'd kick the ever-loving shit out of me. Chivalry might not be dead, but I certainly would be if I tried fighting any of them. And I'm not comfortable with the idea of punching a woman, so let's instead move on from that minefield of misogyny to fight a man. You know, on second thoughts, maybe I don't feel as bad fighting a woman. Yeah, of course, it was never going to be a possibility that I'd fight a Custodes. That's not even a consideration. But at least the Custodes do have the Sisters of Silence amongst their ranks that I could probably... Never mind. Okay, so this is bullshit. They're made of metal, for God's sakes. I'm pretty sure touching them will give me acute radiation poisoning. Although, if we are saying without a weapon, the Scatros is an achievable victory, right? How are they going to punch me? Their arms are all the way up there. All I need to do is grab the legs like a snowspeeder wrapping around an AT-AT, and hopefully the fall cracks his head open on the ground. Look at this knife-eared nerd. Warlocks seem pretty beatable, to be honest. I reckon I could smack one of them around without having too much trouble. Alright, what about a less wizardy guard here? Okay, what about the unmanned turret? Alright, finally, here we go. One I actually might be able to beat because they're just like me. These are the human baseline, the normal dudes of the 40k universe. They're meant to represent the layman. And I'm a pretty lame man, so this should be easy. So let's analyze this. Worst case scenario, they're a highly trained military expert. That's not great for my odds of survival. But best case scenario, there's some random conscript that lived on some hive world fighting for scraps who... that I guess has survived long enough on some hive world fighting for scraps that they've had time to be recruited into the Imperial Guard. So, yeah, still not great prospects. Maybe I couldn't take on a true member of the Emperor's Finest. I debated trying to see what kind of age limit there is to being an Imperial Guard recruit, but even I think that's going too far. Hiding behind my moral compass was just an excuse to avoid being demolished by strong women, but I legitimately draw the line at fighting children. Children-sized adults, though, that's a different story. Hello, ratlings. Look at that. Toughness 2. 2! And according to the Lexicanum, which is about as far as I'm willing to research to justify beating up futuristic hobbits, ratlings are not particularly strong or resilient. A swift kick to the head, and that should do them in. Where'd he go anyway? Ah, for fuck. I don't think so. I'm not even sure why I included this one. Absolutely not. Now, cultists and traitor guardsmen fit into that normal dude category that I, too, am a part of. Just about. But am I more likely to defeat either a chaos-corrupted insane zealot or a highly trained military gunt that is also now a chaos-corrupted insane zealot? My only other option here is to go back to my first idea and try to beat up someone who's more brains than brawn in someone from the Dark Commune. I could probably punch a poxworker to death. If I could reach you without dying of the turbo plague or my fist rotting off. Hey, finally some good news here. I probably wouldn't die fighting a Drukhari. The bad news is, I probably wouldn't die. Something tells me I'm not going to have a good time trying to go against any of the Emperor's children. I mean, what do you think? Let me know in the comments below. And also, the subscribing button really helps out. Make sure to like the video. Now then, this is an interesting one. I reckon I could win against a random Genestealer Cultists. They're fairly tough and probably quite strong, especially those who have been working down in the mines. It's hard to match up against the strength manual labor provides, especially when you compare it to my relatively sedentary life of sitting here for 16 hours a day, 7 days a week, trying to evaluate imaginary combats against fictional characters. But without their sneaky bullshit, there's going to be some random weakling cultist that I could beat up without worrying about their backup popping up out of nowhere. At that point, it's just down to a skill issue and coming up with a good game plan then. I have to just be ready to strike at the right time, block the right jab, dodge the left hook, and then move in for the... Oh, this one's easy. I could definitely take a Nemesis Dread Knight. Assuming the pilot wasn't in it and had a lot of time to just kind of rip cables out. Like, look back here at the legs, right? That's an easy win. You just gotta kind of get in there, just yank this bit here, and... There you go. Now it can't move. I am invincible. Even if they aren't physically strong, even acolytes of the Inquisition are somewhat highly skilled individuals, which is a real shame because this is one of my best shots at getting a win. However, it's inconsequential as Imperial Agents aren't a real faction, so I don't need to rank them. This is absolutely not me very obviously winding up Agents players while trying to avoid facing the reality of how weak and inept I am. Don't at me. Why didn't I just include this with Chaos Knights? No, of course not. What do you think? Okay, maybe I could use my reach advantage here to make sure they can't actually get to me. Height advantage goes a long way in physical confrontations like this. Oh, that's just made him angry. Well, at the very least, I can just hold him at arm's length until he tires himself out. You might think that being 60 million years old and being made entirely of regenerated metal means I have absolutely no hope here. But surely I could take on a single scarab, right? Not a whole swarm, of course, just a single scarab. Toughness 2, strength 2, weapon skill 5+. They're tiny and only really dangerous when in that swarm. So as long as I can catch one and avoid it biting me, I should be able to just smash it into the ground. Gotcha. What is that mysterious ticking noise? Oh, it's a pump! Even though I think very little of myself, I'm pretty sure I could beat a single Gretchen. Gretchen are small, weak, feeble creatures and only really do well in groups, much like scarabs, but without the tendency to self-destruct as they're too cowardly for that. I'm pretty confident in my extremely limited fighting ability. I could probably beat a grot. Now, where is it? Well, that seems suboptimal. Okay, same tactic as against Grey Knights, except this time, unmanned fire strike servo turrets. Surely this time I can make it inoperable without it falling on me. I mean, it's pretty low to the ground. The central gravity is not a problem here. I guess the question is, what counts as winning? I guess I need to be able to kill it, which means damaging it beyond repair. And I'm sure I could find something in here that would be hard to fix, right? Let's have a look. Yes, I realize this isn't so much a fist fight, it's just untrained, unplanned, uncoordinated demolition. But, oh, that hurt. Caught my finger on something. I don't know, a drone, I guess? Okay, even I'm not sure this counts as a win. I guess if I could permanently remove the dust so it can't be reformed, that would work. What's my other option? Look, I've seen Alien. I'm not going to pretend I could beat a single Ripper, and I've already had enough aliens inside me today. That probably could have been phrased better. The World Eater's weakest unit is cultists, but bulkier and fightier. What do you think? So there you have it, the perfect tier list ranking the relative power of every 40k faction. With this, we can confidently conclude that the strongest 40k army is... I need to go back to the gym. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this, go and like, subscribe, all that good YouTube stuff. Become a member or patron like all of these fine folks, or buy my merch. I also have a gaming channel if you want to watch me go insane with a completely different medium. I'm going to go now and reevaluate my life choices, enter a downward self-deprecating spiral, cry myself to sleep, and wake up in the middle of the night to sign up for the gym again. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time.